Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Mickey in Minutes. I'm your host, Nick Lazaga, and this is the weekly Top 3, a brand new show where I talk about the three biggest Disney news stories in just about 15 minutes. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube, leave your comments down below. And hey, if you're listening to this on the podcast feed, thanks so much for checking that out. And be sure to subscribe and rate and review and all those fun things. I just want to say happy 4th of July, everybody. I hope that you guys had a safe and fun holiday. I know I did. I went out of town with my family, and that's why I didn't have a weekly top three last week. So, I know weekly is in the name. I promise it will get back on track soon, probably in the fall when I get back to work. Of course, I'm a teacher, so I'm on summer. Everything is crazy right now, and I'm going to Walt Disney World in like 15 days. So, there won't be a show that week, but in the fall, it will be weekly again. But anyways, because I missed a week, I have some really big stuff that I've been dying to talk about. So we're gonna get right to them now. All right, you know how this works. We got 15 minutes on the clock right here, and here we go. The first story is that Disneyland surprised everybody with a brand new pirate animatronic, kind of. So basically, on June 26th, we got this look at a refurbished pirate animatronic in the original Disneyland Pirates of the Caribbean. This is that classic pirate where he's sitting on all the gold. That scene's been there forever. And Disney decided for some reason that that's the scene that they had to mess with, right? So, I've had a little bit of time now to really think about this and marinate it. It's been a little over a week, I guess, right? And I don't like it. So let's talk about it. We all have opinions on this. So Tech Radar got the first look at this animatronic, and they shared a video on Instagram. And basically, the animatronic body is still just classic animatronic technology, but the face is now a 3D printed black shell. It has no visible moving parts, and then we have a projected face on it. And it allows the figure to trade faces, right? Start from being a human alive face to being a skeleton face. Of course, this original figure was just a static figure of a skeleton sitting on the pile of gold, and it's just, like I said, such a classic figure. Um, and now we have this new face, and of course, this was a surprise. I will give kudos to Disney for that because I love these kinds of surprises. I think back to the time when we got surprised at Epcot a while ago with the Three Caballeros animatronics. That was fun. So anytime Disney can, actually surprise us, it's a good thing. I feel like with social media, we always know everything before it comes. But I don't know if this was a good surprise. So, you know, I don't think it works for the rest of the ride. And I don't think it works where it is either. It's reminding me of when they put the Hatbox Ghost in the Magic Kingdom's Haunted Mansion, and it was, too early in the ride, and that wasn't the part where we have the ghosts active and stuff. Just like that, this beginning of the Pirates of the Caribbean ride in Disneyland is supposed to be place setting, right? It's supposed to be setting the tone and the mood for the rest of the attraction with these kind of creepy, eerie uh, scenes, and all these dead pirates. And then we go back in time and we see the alive pirates. This is weird. Now, this pirate is supposed to be now trapped in a curse, kind of like the Pirates of the Caribbean movie, where he picks up the gold coin and, he's alive, or well, he picks up the gold coin and then he's turns into a skeleton because he stole it, right? But he's alive when he picks it up. But it just keeps going back and forth between this alive and dead and alive and dead. And it's supposed to be that he's in a never-ending cycle of picking up the coin and putting it back and so on. And I don't know. I don't think it works for the rest of the attraction. We're way before the part where we have the alive pirates, and it's just a little goofy, right? It's a little silly. His expressions are a little like, "Ooh, oh," and I don't know. It's weird. It just doesn't work. What do you guys think? Do you guys think it works? I know, like the other day, it broke. They said it wouldn't break, but it broke anyways, and they put like a pirate face on it. Sorry, a pirate skull, like a skull face on it, and, people were like, "Oh, hey, look, they brought it back to normal." But no, it's still this weird, wacky projected face. And, you know, it's cool. It's cool technology. I like the fact that Disney Imagineering and R&D are working on new technologies to bring other animatronics into the future. This looks like a really cool thing that could be used for Coco in the future. That Coco attraction, there's a lot of skeletons in that. So this is cool technology, and I get that they're, trying it out. But I don't think Pirates of the Caribbean is the attraction to try this out on. Like, it's jarring, it's weird, it's confusing. Now I have to reserve some judgment because I haven't seen it in person. So I've heard it looks better from the boat, right, from far away, but all the images we're seeing, even from Disney themselves, are really close up, and it doesn't work for me. Um I don't think this should have been touched. And frankly, I'm tired of Disney Imagineering touching these classic attractions. Haunted Mansion, Pirates of the Caribbean. These are attractions that I feel like should be left alone. And they're attractions that keep getting picked at, and I feel like not every change and addition they're doing to these attractions are good. And this is one of the ones that I don't think was a good choice. So I don't know. Maybe they'll remove this. I doubt it. But, can we all agree? Pirates of the Caribbean, Haunted Mansion, they should be left alone. So, anyways, those are my thoughts on this. I don't really care for it, but I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below, wherever you're listening. What do you think of this new pirate animatronic at Pirates of the Caribbean in Disneyland? I was just thinking we finally got rid of the animatronic projected faces in Frozen, and now we're right back there again here at Pirates of the Caribbean. So I don't know, whatever. All right, number two. Story number two. The gingerbread house. I know this again has been a story that has been talked about over and over again, but I haven't been able to share my 2 cents. So that's what this show is all about, sharing my thoughts on these. So the gingerbread house over at the Grand Floridian is gone again this year and probably forever, right? So if you don't know, this gigantic gingerbread house has been a staple over at the Grand Floridian for many, many, many years. It's been beautiful. It's like a full size, like life size gingerbread house where they actually sell gingerbread from. And Disney didn't do it last year. They kind of blamed it on the lobby refurbishment. They were putting the perch, the new lobby bar, and all that stuff. But now they're not doing it again this year. And there's been a lot of conversation about why. And Disney has actually put out some statements that, kind of keep this conversation going a little bit. Disney has said officially, and I quote, "This holiday season at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa, guests can enjoy elegant seasonal decor and festive offerings, along with new miniature gingerbread displays featured throughout the resort. To keep the lobby flowing smoothly for resort guests, the traditional large gingerbread house will not be offered this year." End quote. So they're saying this year, I, the conversation is that it's probably never ever coming back. But they're replacing it with small gingerbread houses, and that's just really disappointing. I love the Disney gingerbread house, and we've been wanting to make that a tradition of going to visit it, and I know for a lot of people it was a tradition to go over and visit it. But then that's not the only statement kind of regarding this. Disney put out another statement on Disney Parks blog that says With more than 25 hotels to choose from in the Disney Resorts collection, there are plenty of ways to make this holiday season special for you and your loved ones while staying or dining with us. With special offers, stunning decor, and countless moments of joy, there's so much to see and do at each of the Disney Resorts collection hotels during the holiday season. So the key phrase in there is where it says for you and your loved ones while staying or dining with us. And that kind of brings us back to the conversation that we had on the last weekly top three, where we were talking about the buses coming from Disney Springs and the new restrictions on that, where you can't go to a resort from Disney Springs unless you have a dining reservation or you're staying there, and they're going to be scanning magic bands and whatnot to confirm those things. And this is Disney's way of solidifying that. That last quote was posted on Disney Parks blog when they were talking about all the holiday offerings coming to the resort this holiday season. And so those kind of go hand in hand, where they're saying these offerings are for people who are staying or dining with us. And then the other quote said to keep our lobby flowing smoothly for resort guests. So Disney is really doubling down on the fact that these offerings are for resort guests. So what do you guys think about that? They're, getting rid of this beautiful gingerbread display that they've had forever. And, now they're really doubling down on restricting people from visiting the resorts unless you have a quote reason to be there. So I don't know. Again, I'm I'm kind of double-minded on this, where I feel like, yes, if you're staying at these resorts, you're paying a ton of money to enjoy these, and you don't want it to be crowded with people who aren't staying there. But at the same time, resort hopping is such a fun thing to do, and then you get to visit other resorts and then hang out and be like, oh, I love this place, maybe I'll stay here next time, right? How are people going to develop a love for a place that they can never visit? How are they going to want to stay somewhere if they can never see it for themselves? And it's just it's such a hard debate. I kind of go back and forth on this, but I am heartbroken about this gingerbread house. It was beautiful, it was amazing, and it just feels like Disney doesn't care. They're getting rid of something that is beloved, that a lot of people care deeply about, and they just don't seem to care. Here they come with the wrecking ball. And that brings me to my third story. I'm doing pretty good on time, about 4 minutes left. Um, and that is that a couple days ago on July 5th, the Carousel of Progress officially closed. I posted on Instagram that song, Another One Bites the Dust. That's what it feels like. They're getting rid of history. This is a classic attraction. Now, I know it's not exactly the same as the version from the 64 World's Fair, but the first few scenes were pretty close to what that was. And even the last scene is nostalgic for people who loved uh, Disney, Magic Kingdom, Tomorrowland, 1994, that whole thing, which I do. That's my favorite era of Magic Kingdom and Tomorrowland. But that's gone. It's gone forever. I talked about all the things that are coming to replace that, all the new scenes, because of course they're updating it now. It's going to be 60s and 80s and 1999 New Year's, and then the possible the possible future, as they say. But go back and listen to the first episode of Weekly Top Three. I gave a lot of details on that. I'm not going to do it again here because I'm running out of time. But again, I'm heartbroken. Another instance of where it seems like Disney doesn't care. Disney is tearing down history. And they've alluded to the idea that there's going to be Easter eggs in the new version of Carousel of Progress to the old version. And, you know, why do you want to put Easter eggs for something when you had the real thing? You could have just left the real thing instead of having a new thing with Easter eggs to the old thing. I don't know. And the thing they keep saying is like, well, Disney isn't saying this, but the comments and people are saying, well, alive. Nobody alive now was alive for those first couple scenes in the Carousel of Progress, so people don't have nostalgia for it anymore because that generation isn't around. That doesn't make any sense to me, right? the whole idea of nostalgia is, not just having been there, but having a longing for something that you didn't get to experience, right? And it's just, it just hurts my heart so much that this is gone. And, by that logic of, oh, well, no one is alive who was there. Well, who was alive during the golden age of piracy? You know, there, maybe we should get rid of Pirates of the Caribbean. Or, no one was alive during turn of the century America. Maybe we should get rid of Main Street USA. Like that logic doesn't hold up. And I'm really disappointed in the people that keep saying that. Um, and Disney is trying to appeal to this new generation of you know, Disney fans, I guess. And you know, I just constantly keep seeing things that I love getting, torn down or taken away or whatever. But I'm trying not to be such a downer. Um, so you know, let's see what happens. There's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow shining at the end of every day, and maybe this new version of Carousel of Progress is gonna be amazing. Who knows? But, it's gone now, so we gotta just let it go and move on and watch all the wonderful YouTube videos. So, I have about 30 seconds left. Bonus story, Disneyland just hit their 1 billionth guest, guys. That's a really cool way to end the Disneyland 70th anniversary by welcoming 1 billion guests. And their 1 billionth guest was this kid. He was celebrating his birthday, and and he got rewarded with being able to pull the banner down, revealing the new population sign. So, yeah, that's awesome. And there you have it. That's the timer. We are out of time. Thanks so much for listening to Mickey in Minutes. And let me know your comments down below on these 4 stories. I got to 4 today, guys. That's pretty crazy. These 4 big Disney news stories. I want to hear your thoughts. Let's make this a conversation. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Nick Lazaga. This is Mickey in Minutes, and I will see you next time. Bye.